Let's turn to Tuesday's elections and what, if anything, they tell us about the midterm elections coming up in November. In Pennsylvania, Senator Arlen Specter lost even though he had the support of President Obama and Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell. In Kentucky, Trey Grayson lost to Rand Paul even though he, Grayson, had the support of Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. Governor, what do you think voters in both parties were saying on Tuesday?
I think both parties were saying, especially as reflected in PA 12, where the anti-Obama candidate registered as a Democrat.
Pennsylvania 12, the West.
Pennsylvania 12, right, where the anti-Obama candidate registered as a Democrat. He won. He was pro-life, pro-gun, anti-Obamacare, and he won. They're in a district where Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. That's a reflection of the voters' mood right now, and that mood is we do not want to see that Obama-Pelosi-Reid agenda, that transformation of America continue, and we need to take some steps to stop it. It's also a message, though, with that victory there in Pennsylvania 12 of the Democrat for Republicans, for common sense constitutional conservatives, to ride the momentum of the voters' desire for a change away from what Obama's doing to the country, but not to take anything for granted, not just assume that everyone on board, even those Democrats who are quite conservative, a Reagan Democrat type who in Critz, who just won, are not necessarily on board with all the changes that need to take place to stop this Obama administration's agenda and Pelosi's and Reid's agenda that will harm this country.
But I do have to ask you, because, you know, you're quite right. Mark Critz, the Democrat in the special election in Western Pennsylvania, did run against the health care, did run against cap and trade, but the fact was a lot of people thought, including you, it would be a Republican pickup. Why wasn't it? And doesn't that raise questions as to whether or not all this talk of a big GOP sweep in November is overblown?
Well, remember in Pennsylvania, too, though, in that district, 2-1 registration of Democrats outnumbering Republicans. Why wouldn't a lifetime Democrat vote for the Democrat who was anti-Obama in the race? That just makes sense. But, no, this again, speaks to the common sense conservative who wants to see changes in our country, to put government back on the side, to not take any race for granted. Now, of course, this is essentially a temporary seat to be held there in replace of Murtha. We'll see in November who will permanently take that seat. But yeah, it's a wake-up call in terms of anybody assuming that you can just take it for granted that the voters' mood will I guess, usher in all the Republicans. That's not the case. Ann Coulter wrote a really good piece on this recently where she said quite candidly, quite dramatically, that Republicans had better wake up and work their butts off if they want to see changes this midterm election and not just assume that Republicans are going to get swept in there.